We are live. Good morning, good day, good afternoon. This is Service Farm, continuing our $1 million challenge on Elmcreek with episode 21. So we are starting out on our 11th day, it should be. Let's jump in and see. It's been a while that I streamed. I have a lot going on, so I don't have a lot of time to play at all. Okay, there we go. It's 2014, the previous day. Let's get some rest. And we are in summer, so let's get an early start at 6 o'clock. It's probably not early for farmer. Yeah, it's already light, so I could have actually gone 5 o'clock. So let's check where we are with contracts, what is going on. We have one active contract for cultivating. It's 70% done, so we probably actually just should jump over here and hire a worker to continue that. And there is field 33. We are on 38 right now. 33 is over here. That's a nice one. Let's grab this contract. We don't want to do the baling. We have fertilizing, that is fine. That is root crops. And 57 needs plowing. Where is 57? That is this one here. Let's get this contract going as well. And borrowed items. So there we go. Isn't it nice in those Valtras? You can hardly hear anything. Let's fold you up, and then we need to go to 57. Let's see on the map. Just down there. You know what? I'm just going to be sneaking down right besides 56 here. Look at this thing going. I'm not used to these tractor speeds. After playing with the smaller tractors for a while. Let's unfold the plow. Okay, we're hiring somebody here. Then let's check the growth on our fields, because our field 50 is actually ready to harvest. So this means we are going to borrow a header, because let me show you. The crop types that we actually have here is corn, so we need a header to actually chop the corn, harvest the corn, but we don't have one. And we don't have any of the, I think this is the one that we can do, yes. So, and it costs us 3,200. get this corn header so that we actually then can go and harvest the corn in this field. I didn't buy it because in order to actually work with corn, we would need the corn header and also a planter. Our seeder that we have doesn't plant corn, so there is no value right now in it to actually extend our capabilities to being able to work with corn. If this would be for long-term profitability and long-term creating as much revenue as possible, I would not play on a game without precision farming or without seasons. I would have both those enabled, and with that I actually would need to do crop rotation, and for that having corn in there, or the capability of putting corn in there, is a completely different story. But as it stands, and we are trying to get an added value of $1 million to the farm as quickly as possible, I'm very hesitant to buy any additional machinery or larger machinery at all, because machinery loses very quickly a lot of value. So I'm going for the keeping as much value and keeping the losses as small as possible. And that means not having a lot of equipment, rather investing into land. Okay, there you go, getting down there. Let's unfold this, that we can then right away start chopping, making use of the time. Making a little bit additional room here, meters, and we probably will need to do that at the other end as well, because of the power poles that are sitting close to the field there. And I'm going to quickly hire a worker here, so that I actually can get our trailer pulled over here. My next stream game is definitely going to be with everything hard enabled. Okay. So that there is actually crop damage and everything. But I need to find an objective to go for. And a map. It is June. Let's quickly check on the prices. Sorghum, no. Soybeans, we are not up there yet. Getting there. Hitting the 4,000 already. Not close to harvesting yet. In game tomorrow we might be able to harvest the canola on this field right beside us. But other than that, okay, now we have a nice piece of room on this side. Let's get this field chopped down. Get those golden kernels out of here and into the trailer. I don't know if you can hear that, but the neighbor's dog is definitely having an opinion here. I actually need to check if there is a nice little kind of equipment for forestry available. Not the big forestry machines, but actually small ones. Doing small scale forestry and then production. Need to look into that. What there is possible in Farming Simulator. That would be an interesting, different thing to do. So we've cleaned up the parameter. Now let's clean out this field. This is what I mentioned in the last stream. The first time we did go around the field, we did one full circle along the parameter for a full round, and half a length, and the corn tank was 90% full. We just did a complete second round around, and the other half of this long side here, and we were at 60% or 64%. So it is actually the difference in the area that you're actually covering from going around the parameter is more than it appears. So keep that in mind when you're choosing to do that. Because what actually happens, what I find what happens is, if you're always going in along the parameter in circles in a spiral, okay, this circle was done. That's very bad timing. We were just about drain tank full. Okay. Yes, you go and save. And we are checking our contracts. This one is done. So we are collecting that. Then we have 33 cultivating. This means we need to go to this one up there with you. That's a nice long field, so it's going to be relatively quick work. And then right after that, actually we already could start with our let's get you over there, and then we get our what is it called? I'm missing the word. Subsoiler. We get our subsoiler over to this field and get that running. Because then we can start collecting stones. This guy is walking with a purpose. Let's unfold you. And let's you get over there. I remember this field. I think we just harvested that. And now it's one of our dogs having an opinion. Looks like today is Dog Opinion Day. Can't get everything in there, I don't think so. Ah, yeah, it works. We have 72% in the trailer. So we should get nearly a grain tank in there. Plus, we can't keep the grain tank full when we're traveling back. Just besides our farm, so we don't need to empty the grain tank because we don't drive far. And we're simply not going to be hiring somebody. What is the price fluctuations of where is corn? There is corn. July is high. That's 1500. Yeah, we're getting to the highs. So make room for the rest of the field. And yes, not everything in the grain tank actually fitted. No surprise there. Trailer was 72% full. And a complete grain tank of this harvest in this trailer is around 40%. So there was no way it's going to fit. But that's fine. just thinking how we're going to be doing it with our tractors. I'm going to be using the tractor that I have on the trailer for the subsoiler, and then the small stayer. Burrow, not stayer, burrow. And both are Austrian companies. I'm going to be using the small burrow for the stone collector. First, let's finish this. Field, harvesting this field. And then, do we have everything harvested? Yes, we are clean. So, actually we need to go to the garage. Oh, it's not in here. Okay. That's owned items, leased items. I need to select that, and I'm going to be returning it. As you can see, I haven't been doing that in Farming Simulator 22 that often, or at all. So, needed to find a way to do that. I would say we can put out a heavy alert. just seen something blue. Okay. And having said that, that is corn. We are going to be going high. Nothing else is coming. We have to wait a little bit to see if we can get the soybeans in. I'm kind of this is soybeans. We probably can get those in, but not those up here. That sucks. So we are off by 1 year there. And then we have the canola. It is November, so it's not going to do us any good in the bank account in the short term. The soy and the corn is going to be doing that. We are June, so that would be in game tomorrow. Complete, okay. And I don't remember, can I collect the stones on the subsoiled field, or do I first need to run the cultivator on it? Let's see. I think I first need to run the cultivators in. So let's have a look at our... Yeah, we have a lot of stones. And it needs plowing. We are taking care of the plowing. And 48 has also quite a bit of stones. I simply try it out for him. Give it a quick try. I don't think it works, but actually it works. Good. Traveling like a drunk sailor. Always good. Don't let Farmer Cop know. We are about the same speed, but I think my turns are going to be faster, and my working width is about double. Finish off that corner. Okay, so where are we at? 9:40 in game. About half of the morning gone. A bit more than half. We have finished the one contract. We have already harvested this field. We're getting it prepared for the planting. And we are June, so we need to plant something that we need to, or that we can sell in December or January, probably January. So we need to check what that would be. Two of our contracts are nicely running, so let's check. That's December, that's December, that's December, that's November. There you go. Sorghum. We are going to be planting sorghum. Then we can sell it at the maximum price in January. Trying to get 2 maximum price harvests into a year on each of those fields. And just dirt. I'm going to be probably not being this successful this year because I'm going to be having a lot of soy that I'm harvesting after the fact. And I probably should just replant with soy there because I'm not going to be getting the crop into the ground in time for the winter harvest season, no, for the winter high price season, I should say, not harvest season. So let's buffer up on soy and be a couple months ahead. And then after the soy is harvested in winter, we are doing the crops in summer that bring the price in winter. We are just keeping it in the silo. This means it's going to be taking a couple months before we're actually getting the real big payouts. But then it's going to be hitting hard. $524 in wage payments, that is a lot. Okay. We are winning ground. Ten. Field 33, 80% done. I like the sound of that. We actually might be able to get this done before lunch, in-game lunch. We missed a spot. There you go. Can't have that. Let's check for contracts. Cultivating, fertilizing. Harvesting, 25 is soybeans. Where's 25, 24, 25, okay. Harvesting 25 up there means I need to do that a lot by hand. And I'm definitely going to... Did we accept the contract? No, not yet. We definitely need to accept this contract. It's soybeans. It's a large field, and this means there's going to be a lot of leftover soybeans, and we're getting to the high price season. Just double areas we need to cross the highway. Just making sure that we actually have the head with us. It's a slow harvester, so I don't want to need to circle back. I can't see the field. And it's soy, so it's a low volume yield. Which is good because our trailer tractor is subsoiling right now. In field 33, that is our cultivator, is 90% done, so it doesn't take that much longer, and we can pull that tractor and put it on the subsoiling and get our trailer tractor back. Let's go down there. Of course, I did make my life difficult parking the trailer in front of a power pole. What else is new? Field 57, that is plowing, 50% complete. Probably leaving a lot of unplowed area. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. But it's contract work, so I don't sweat it. It's more a concern that our stone collector is leaving areas uncovered that we need to clean up. Okay. this contract is done. So I'm getting you to the shop, because you guys definitely need maintenance. To set you up that I can start putting a helper on here. So I will, in the near future, very near future, need to run tractors around. Switching this up so that trailer out here. Okay, the one is at the shop. And we are 10% done on this field here. So let's see. $638 for each payments. Holy cow. That is way too much. That's a lot of cost. Now let's turn into this, that we are perpendicular to the lines, just like that, and higher one. Let's spend some money. Repair. Repair. Then you are going over to the farm. I'm not fueling you up yet. Getting you over to the farm. Dropping the cultivator. Yeah, it's still worth. No, it's not worth changing it to exchanging it to the subsoiler because subsoiling is done pretty much. So I'm going to be putting the planter on you, or seeder. We don't have a planter. I'm putting the seeder on you. And have you ready to rock and roll over there. There's definitely big rocks laying there. $11:23 in game. Half an hour, a good half hour until we are eating lunchtime. Noon. Let's get this trailer over there and then clean up our contracts. We have a finished contract, and with that we have a slot open for a third contract. So let's see if there's something that we might do. Let's see. This one is completed. Let's collect. Baling, cultivating, fertilizing. Yeah, that is. You know what? Let's unhire you. And clean up that edge a little bit. So we're going to be doing the crane dolly or crane cart duty. And then we're taking over for the harvester worker. Actually, we first should get our auto tractor with the seeder over to our field 50 and 52. And we said we're going to be putting sorghum on that field. So there you go. Run you to the end of the field there, and while you're doing that we are changing refill seeds off and fertilizer by. Yes, I want to empty the seeder a little bit because we still have the bag of seeds sitting in the shop. So I want to make sure to actually collect that and get that out of the way there. We actually might need to empty stone collector in the middle of a field. Imagine that. I didn't see that coming. So let's take over here now. 23% in the crane tank, so let's do a perimeter sweep. As you can see, doing the perimeter sweeps actually enables the AI workers to get the job done. is making it possible for the AI workers by putting the intelligence into the preparation that the artificial workers actually can't get the job done. And we started out just shy of 30% in the grain tank. So let's see. Going back to the starting point, all the way diagonally to the starting point, let's see how much this adds to the grain tank, how many percent. And then we know if we go alongside the other side or back this side. Preferably I would be going back this side to actually have two paths on the parameter. But you never know what you get. Okay, so where are we at? We started just below 30%. We're 52%, so that's 22% running around this U shape. So let's go right back. So that's 25%. We should be ending up at just below 80%. Or at 80% once we are back. And this means we then can go on the long straight, back on the long straight, hire a worker, and do our grain cart duty. At least that's the plan. And that looks good because how much would we probably have harvested? 20%? 30%? So this means we're going to be having more than one trailer full soy, which means there's probably going to be a few thousand liters left for us. Few thousand liters of soy at $4,000 per thousand liters. That is cash in our bank account. I like that. If you could see me, you would see dollar signs in my eyes. why is it that when you're waiting for the notification how much you have harvested, or the percentage of the contract, how much it is done, it always takes an eternity to show up. 70% are on field 57. That is nice, but that's not the one that I was looking for. I was looking on harvested on field 25. There it is, 40%. So this is about halfway of the harvesting done. So we're getting a bit more than a trailer together. We have about 8,000 liters in the trailer, 7,000 liters in the harvester. That's 15,000 liters, so we're getting 30,000 liters together. That's 1/3 trailers. And we hit right about 80% as expected. So, sorry to say that, but no surprise there. So let's get this emptied out. We should be ending up at 15,000, 16,000 liters in the trailer. There you go, 15,500 liters. Probably need to wait and add another, where are we here, 81% full in the, that is looking good. So let's continue on here. With the harvesting till we get about 5,000 liters in the tank. Then we're filling up the trailer and emptying it. We will need to do a second run, so let's check the contracts. This one needs to go, so harvesting needs to go grain south, okay. Anything new and interesting coming up? Field 76, that's root crops. I'm kind of shying away from the root crops contracts, simply because we don't have the equipment, so we need to borrow it. And it's a lot of helpers that we need. So the cost is relatively high to actually do these contracts. This contract here, I'm using my own equipment, so I don't have the rental cost, and it's not that many helpers, so I can do a lot myself, or with one helper. So the wage costs kind of stay under control. Somewhat at least. And it's also faster contracts, and it is the type of crop that we can store in our silo for maximum price. With the root crops, that's a complete different ball game. So right now, that's what we're trying to do here on this farm, on this gameplay, of adding as much value as possible, as quickly as possible. Going for root crops is, besides the objective, that's why I'm not going for those contracts. So let's get this one back and then check in on our stone picker. We probably just should send that to empty out. I'm playing with keyboard only. The wheel that I have is very noisy, so it would be a lot of background noise on the mic. That's why I'm not using the wheel for the streams or when I'm recording. I probably should get another wheel that is not quite that noisy. But there is always the added challenge. I'm actually playing on Ubuntu, so on Linux. The drivers for most of the wheels, there is also a specific farming simulator wheel that actually came out. But the drivers for that only are supporting Windows. So I can't actually use that because there's no drivers for Linux. Okay, stop manually, so let's get you to drive over here to there it is, I think. That's scrape. There's the debris crusher. So that is what we need. Okay. So where are we here with those contracts? 51% and 81% then. And the map is Elmcreek. So this is basic Farming Simulator 22. No mods active. It's the base game. And come on. And the challenge is to add as fast as possible $1 million of value to $1 million of value to the farm. So that is the challenge. And how I'm calculating it is actually I am calculating the value of the fields, the value of the buildings, the value of the machinery as it sits. So basically going in here, calculating the value of the machinery, but I'm not accounting, and also bank accounts and loan, but I'm not counting what is actually sitting in storage right now. So this only gets added once we actually have the cash. Or the money is in the bank. Where are we? 5,600 liters. Okay, so let's get this one here in and fill this trailer and go emptying it. Yes, it doesn't look like it, but the majority of this field is already harvested. Contract being done over 50%, that means 5/8 of the harvest is done. Yeah, the problem is if I'm taking 500,000 out of the bank, then I have a loan of 500,000 that is getting deducted. So it's actually not helping for the challenge. RSD needs to go feed and grain south. Okay. It's actually relatively interesting. Going down the path of watching over time the value of the machinery decline. So at times it's when you actually see that dips in the value of the farm, in the overall value, that is because with all the contract work that we did, we couldn't keep up with the depreciation of the machinery. Now, which one is the fastest ways down to feed and grain south? Going past the farm. Actually, we probably should just hire you to go there. Because we need to empty you. Usually, so the question is if I ever wash my tractors. Usually, yes. In this game, I'm just avoiding all these costs. Simply to extremely optimize for the value in the farm. Okay, why did you stop? Because you can't figure out the parameter here. And I probably should actually do an experiment on what is the value or depreciation difference on wash tractors, as well as actually painting them. How much is the difference there over time? Right now I'm not painting them at all. Simply thinking that the value of the paint is actually coming in to act for sale, and I'm not looking for selling them at the moment. So the paint is something that is just flaking off again. That is my thinking, but I haven't done a full experiment to confirm that. that value over time is not affected by that. How many real life hours have I played this map? It's probably not that much. It might be 50, 80, perhaps 100, I don't know. I can give you a number how much hours I have played Farming Simulator. So between all the versions that I have played, I'm probably sitting at about 4,000 hours altogether. Yeah, that's quite a bit. Also, I've been playing Farming Simulator since probably the last 10 years or so. So it is not that those hours are in a short time period. It is over many versions. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I actually started with the 2009 version of Farming Simulator. I'm definitely sure that I have the 2013. So 2013, 15, 17, 19, 22 are all the versions that I have. But I think I started actually with 2009. So it's been over 10 years that I played those hours. So let's take over for this worker. Which version is my favorite? So it's a not that straightforward answer, I think. There are aspects in every version that I prefer. Here in version 22, the physics engine is much better than in a lot of the older versions. So the physics engine in older versions was really wonky. Having said that, version 22, or actually it started with version 19 already, was getting really complex to get started in. So the older versions were much easier for new players to actually get a handle on the game. The way how you could play it was much more focused on just getting the harvesting done, and the growing season and how nature actually behaves was not that realistic in the earlier versions. So that was just getting something done and doing an unrealistic gameplay and focus on certain aspects of the farming, the real farming, was there in the older versions. Now, this also becomes quite quickly, actually, relatively boring, in my opinion. Yes, you can go very extreme with auto harvesting and so, but it becomes very repetitive, a very grinding kind of way of playing the game. With the version, with the 2019 version of Farming Simulator, the introduction of the precision farming, and especially if you are also using the Seasons mod in that version, the gameplay becomes very, very realistic. And that is a really big leap from the older versions, and it's very enjoyable to play it in this way. You actually have to go a full 12-month cycle for your crops to be harvestable. It's not 1 or 2 game days and they're ready, no matter what time of the year it is. You actually have your growing seasons. You need to plant or seed at the right time. You need to fertilize at the right time. All these mechanics are there once you are in able seasons. And then with precision farming, it's actually reacting on the soil types, on what type of crop you're doing, on what the weather is, and so on. It's really reacting on that. It becomes far more immersive and far more challenging. But on the other side, as already mentioned, it's also very difficult for new players to get into the game, because all of a sudden it's not just the machinery and what machinery to use for what or when and how large for what field, or how to actually work a field. It becomes so much more that it is, quite frankly, very overwhelming for new players. Then the one thing that is kind of detrimental on that gameplay of going with seasons and precision farming is everything takes a long time. So you actually need to put in a lot of hours to really progress in the game, that you actually can get additional fields, additional lands, get newer machinery, bigger machinery, and so on. So everything takes a lot longer. What took in the earlier versions basically took 3-4 harvesting cycles, which is in that gameplay 8 days, 10 days in game, that you had the means of really upgrading your farm. And that now takes, because of the seasons, 50 days. So it's a lot longer gameplay that you actually need to be able to upgrade. So which is a nice challenge, but also adds to the complexity for new game players. How do you now optimize for that? And how do you make sure that all the money that you actually have lasts you throughout the year's cycle? Because what I'm doing right now here, the harvesting of the soy, is going to be maximum price in July. So that's only going to be 2 months, or with the speed that I'm playing at, 2 in-game days until I actually get the money out of the soy harvest, or I would get the money out of it. This is a contract, so that's a different story. But in a real gameplay, if this would be my field, then yes, I would be basically getting the money in a day or 2. But if it's a different crop, it takes another 5-6 days before I'm actually seeing the money in my bank account. And this means I need to be able and plan ahead for all the funds that I have, for all the expenses that I have, that I'm not running out of money as well. So that is a complete different level of and layer of complexity. So it makes it much more challenging for the gameplay because it's so much more realistic and immersive. But I definitely see the challenge to new players, and because it really makes the game very complex. So there's your answer for which one is my favorite. It's not a straightforward answer. Okay, we're getting close here. How far are we with this contract? Okay, that is completed, collected. There's another harvesting on 73. I think that was root crops. 73 is where? It's down there. And it is sorghum, and we are going to Johnson's Farmer Market. Let's accept this contract. It fits in with the sorghum that we need to harvest, or plant actually, in our next field, in the field 50. Yeah, we should be able to. That is 2 more parcels. Let's get cracking here that the crop is in the ground. There you go. What do you think is the best way to get money? It depends on the time of the game that you're at. So in this game here, I'm still kind of in relatively early stages. I don't have much money, I don't have much equipment. And in those stages, to actually get started in the gameplay, do contracts. So that is the fastest way how you actually can get money. And then be conscious about what contracts you do. You can do the contracts with borrowing the items, which is a absolutely valid way. But focus on the contracts that you are actually equipped to do and to also store the leftover product. There is a huge difference in the prices in the products over the year. So that is why I'm not doing the root crops. I don't have the facilities to actually store the crop that is left over at the end of the contract. Whatever is left over after the contract, you can keep. And this is actually how, if you check this out, most of these small amounts that I have in here, that is leftovers from contracts. So I'm kind of saving that up. Saving up those additional crops and then selling them at the highest price. That is what then gives you close to the at times close to the same amount of money as the contract itself. So you're kind of doubling the money that you're doing there. And if you have a lot of the equipment, then like I'm doing, use your own equipment for the contracts instead of borrowing it. And once you are at a position that you actually have all your basic equipment, that you can focus on one type of crop, one type of crop. Right now I'm focusing on the grains. So this harvest I have a seeder, not a planter, so I can do all the grains, seed the grains. I'm focusing on that type of crop, and then I'm adding fields to the farm. I'm growing the farm this way. And the big advantage of land is that it does not depreciate in value. Buildings depreciate, equipment depreciates, land does not. And so this way, all the land that you have, everything that you harvest off the land is in your silo, it's in your bank account. It's not for somebody else. And then focus on selling at the highest point. So I always look for that, and I start once I have enough in my silo that I can do complete trailer loads. So the grain trailer that I have, or the trailer that I have right now, it's the class over there. It has 22,500 liters capacity. So once I get to 22,500 liters of a grain in my silo, then I start actually using the train to sell it. And it costs you to actually rent the train, so you need to have enough crop that it is worth it renting it. So what I do is I take the full trailer loads then out of my silo to the train station, and I fill at the train station with everything that I want to sell at the time, and then I fill the train up one time and send it off with everything that I want to sell in a month. So that is how I go about it. And right now on this farm, in this gameplay, I'm trying to optimize for actually putting in close to 2 harvests. It doesn't work quite out 100%, but I'm trying to optimize for actually putting 2 harvests in a year, or into a year. So that is why most of my fields right now have soybeans on them. I'm probably not going to be able to harvest them for this selling season. So next month we are in June, next month in July, soybean is going to be at the highest price. So I'm not going to be able to harvest that in time and sell it, I think. So I will replant soy again, but then I'm going to be switching it up with other grains. So I'm switching it up between the grains that I can sell in summer at the highest price and in winter at the highest price. That is why on field 50 I'm planting right now sorghum, and because that is going to be selling at the highest price in February. So that is in 8 months from now. It takes about 5-6 months to grow and harvest. So I have about a 1 month window prior of it being at highest price that I have harvested it. And speaking of, I probably should check that you are done. What are you doing? Done. So I'm just going to be parking you over there that I can finish this one here. because workers are being workers. So yes, that is what I would focus on, and start with specializing on one type of crop. The moment you're going, for example, besides grains, you would be going for corn, and then you're adding sunflowers. You need a different type of planter, you need a different type of header, which is still kind of fine as a first addition or expansion from the grains if you're starting with grains. So be cautious about which direction you go, because, for example, besides doing the grains, if you're going into forestry, which is on a non-season gameplay, a completely different game branch, you need a complete different set of equipment. So you're spending a lot of money for a second set of equipment, and you only can basically do one kind of these branches at a time. Now if you're playing with seasons, it's a little bit a different story, because playing with seasons, you have winter time where you're not working the fields and you actually can do the forestry. And so it depends also on this kind of gameplay where you're going. But going, for example, for grains and root crops, that is a completely second set of equipment that sets you back hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, euros, yen, marks, whatever your currency is in your game. Pounds, I think, is also in there. So whatever your currency is in your game, it sets you back by hundred thousands just to get started. And so focus on one type at a time, or for a beginning. Do I play other games? I occasionally play other games, yes, but right now I don't actually have a lot of time to play at all. So my playing time is pretty much what you see streaming me at the moment. I don't have, I'm not playing any other games at this time other than Farming Simulator. And when I'm playing, then I'm actually streaming it. So we just bought a house that needs a lot of work, and that takes a lot of time. So this is what why I don't have a lot of time for playing at the moment. So we bought it. We bought the house beginning of summer. We closed end of May, beginning of June, and since then I literally had to chop down 14 trees because they were just not maintained and were a danger to the house. So I needed to chop those trees down. I needed to work that wood. So it's a lot of firewood that's around at the moment. But that also all needed to get done. Then we needed to redo parts of the driveway, clean up a good portion of the driveway. We have a new roof on the garage. We have a new furnace. Part of the electrical system is updated. And that was just the last 4 months or 3 months. So it's a lot of time that is being consumed this way. I hope it gets a little bit more relaxed in half a year or so, once we are getting through most of that. But the other games that I'm playing, I kind of like quite a lot of puzzle games. simulator games. So besides Farming Simulator, I also have Euro Truck Simulator, American Truck Simulator, of course. It's the two sides of one coin. That is probably the games where I spent most time on. And how is my day going? For us, it's so where I'm at, it's still pretty early. It's actually 10 o'clock in the morning, so, and it's relatively fresh still, so I'm kind of waiting for it to warm up, because I have to go and actually do some work on the garage roof before the rain hits later today or tomorrow. So I want to have some work done there. But right now it's pretty fresh out there, so so far I think it's a good day. We see what it brings for the rest. There's always that possibility of a surprise. You never know. Okay, so our outer contract is field 73, so we are driving you over here. And let's get you emptied out. And let's see how much we have left of this harvest to put into our silo. That's been a long episode, longer than usual. Undertaking, overtaking, undertaking, overtaking, overtaking. Good call. There is a sign that we can run over. Got ya. I'm just going cross country here. After all, we are in a tractor. Oops. I guess this trailer is heavy and pulls on the tractor. In unexpected ways. That's what I meant. The physics engine is much better. This was actually a proper crash because of the physics, because of how the trailer was actually pushing the tractor. In older versions of Farming Simulator, all mayhem would have broken loose, with things flying completely wild all over the place. So that would have been a complete different story. And yes, I know, I'm driving not according to traffic rules. Weaving through railroad gates. And I only did that because the train actually already passed. Okay, now it gets interesting with so 22,500 earlier was about 60% transported. Yeah, that's 62. 70. 86. There you go, contract finished. And we have 3,200 liters left for our silo. We already got $1,800 for the harvest income because I wasn't quite there good enough. But we have another 3,200 liters in the trailer right now. And soy is selling for about $4,000. So we have about 12,800, $13,000 right now in our trailer, additionally to what we are getting from the contract. So that is what I meant with, at the beginning of, or in the early stages of the game, contracts are the way of making the money. Because it's not just the contract income that you have, it's also what the crop is left over that you can keep. Okay. So let's see how cleanly you did plant. Where are we? There is where we need to go. It's done completely, nicely. Okay, with this leg is done. Okay, so with this I'm actually going to be finishing this stream, setting up to harvest this field 73. And then cleaning up the rest of what we did. And that is going to be for today, the stream. Let's collect the contract here. We actually made $7,700 on the contract and about $13,000 with the crop that we kept. So that is basically a $20,000 contract. That's why the contracts are so lucrative to actually look into sowing with soybeans on 57. So that is the one that we just did plow. It's plowed and they want to sow it. Okay, that is an interesting contract because they also actually need to have a proper seeder, but it's a $12,000 contract, so we're going to be accepting that contract for later. So we have 2 active contracts. And with that, I'm going to be finishing today's stream and put our, let's see where we are sitting with our value to the farm, because it was actually quite good contract income so far at 1641. So with that, thanks for watching, and hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments, in the chat, in a future stream, where you want to like to take that. Do we want to go towards silage? Do we just keep doing what we're doing? Do we want to add corn and sunflowers to our crop rotation? Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.